So the continuation of the anterior compartment of the leg, we are going to see about the vessel which is being present in the anterior compartment, which is nothing but the anterior tibial artery. So to see that vessel, I just want you to see this image first, and comparison of this image, if you learn, it will look easier. Okay. So this is the image as I want you to learn. Okay. So just keep it as by the side, this image, so that it will be very helpful. Okay. So right, so this image I have brought it in this page. So we will do this image and we will study the anterior tibial artery. Right, so where is anterior tibial artery? It is here. Okay, so in this you can see anterior tibial artery. Okay, so anterior tibial artery is from the, its main. So if every artery you learn, you should know the introduction of the artery. You should know about the beginning, the course and the termination of the artery. Okay. And you can also see about the relations of the artery. Right. So let me first go on with the introduction of the artery. This is the main artery of the anterior compartment of the leg. Okay. So this is the main artery in the anterior compartment of the leg, and the, it is just from which artery means it is from the peroneal artery. Peroneal artery divides into anterior tibial and the posterior tibial artery. So it is a branch of the peroneal artery. Which artery? Anterior tibial artery is a branch of peroneal. I'm sorry, it's a branch of popliteal artery, not peroneal artery. It doesn't have any peroneal artery. Common peroneal artery only you have. So it is a branch of popliteal artery. Okay, so it is not given here, but we have done it in a popliteal artery. Or else you can once see the popliteal artery so that you can understand. So popliteal artery. Okay, this is the popliteal artery you will come across right now. Yes, this is a popliteal artery. You can see anterior tibial artery and posterior. And this is anterior tibial artery, and this is the posterior tibial artery. You can see, right? So that's what I wanted to show. So it's a, from the branch of popliteal artery only you have the anterior tibial artery. Okay, right. So next you can see the anterior tibial artery. It is supplying the anterior compartment, and it gets terminated. First remember the where it is from, and remember where it is getting terminated. It is being terminated by forming as the dorsalis pedis artery. So the origin is the anterior origin is from the popliteal artery. Termination is as the dorsalis pedis. Next we are going to see about the course of the anterior tibial artery. It arises from the lower border of the popliteus. So lower border popliteus only, the popliteal artery will divide into anterior and the posterior tibial artery. So it arises from the lower border of popliteus. Then it will pass between the fibers of tibialis posterior. Okay, that is not given here, but it will be passing between the fibers of tibialis posterior. This is the anterior tibial artery. You can see here. Okay, so anterior tibial recurrent. This is the anterior tibial artery. So it will be passing between the, between what? Between the tibialis posterior, and passes between the gap which is above the interosseous membrane. At last it enters the anterior compartment. So once it enters the anterior compartment, okay, what happens? It will just go down. Okay, and lower end extensor digitorum hallis lateral to the medial side. So you can see right here. It enters the anterior compartment of the leg by passing forward close to the fibula through an opening in the upper part of the interosseous membrane. In the anterior compartment, it runs vertically downwards to a point midway between the two malleoli. Between the two malleoli, lateral and the medial malleoli, it is going to run between them. So you can see in this images also, the anterior tibial artery. Okay, so this is the best one. Okay, so you can see here, so this is the anterior tibia is anterior. Okay, the tibial is anterior. So I told you tibial is anterior, you have tibial is posterior also you have. Okay, so path between the fibers of tibial is posterior only. And what happens is they'll be running, you have extensor digitorum longus. Okay, lower end of extensor digitorum hallucis. Extensor hallucis is long. The lower end of extensor hallucis is longest. They run. Okay. Behind they have the interosseous membrane. Okay. And in the front they have the muscles of the anterior compartment. So in order to remember, okay, you should know the relations. Okay, very well. And the branches, you have anterior tibial recurrent, posterior tibial recurrent, muscular branches to all the muscles, the medial malleolar and lateral malleolar. So here you had the word of malleolar, right? So between the two malleolar. So medial malleolar, lateral malleolar, and anastomosing with the posterior tibial. So medial malleolar anastomosing and lateral malleolar anastomosing will occur. So this is an image. So as you see, the anterior tibial artery, behind that you have interosseous membrane, tibial is anterior you have, and at top you have extensor digitorum longus, below border you have the extensor hallucis longus. Okay, this is the anterior tibial vein. So the lateral side, this is the medial side, this is the lateral side. So the anterior, this is the medial side, this is the lateral side, and anterior tibial vein is on the medial side, this is on the lateral side. Okay. It ends as the dorsalis pedis. So next is about the relations of the anterior tibial artery. So in relation, upper one third of the leg, the artery lies between the tibialis anterior and the extensor digitorum longus. So the photo itself, that was very easy for us to see over. So here you can see, I'll bring this one to this side. So you can see in upper one third, the artery lie between tibialis anterior and the extensor digitorum longus. So this is the tibialis anterior. Okay, this is the extensor digitorum longus. So let me use some pen and pencil. You can see very easily. Okay, right. So I'll just use the cursor. You can see via the cursor. This is the tibialis anterior, right? This is the extensor digitorum longus, in upper one third. In the middle one third, if you can see, middle one third, we have tibialis anterior and the extensor hallucis longus. So this is the middle one third where you have tibialis anterior, but extensor hallucis longus. Okay. In lower one third, it lies between the extensor hallucis longus and the extensor digitorum longus. So in lower you can see extensor digitorum longus and extensor hallucis longus in lower one third. Okay. So understanding relationship, you can see that from the lateral to the medial side, the extensor hallucis longus is going to, this is a lateral side actually. As I told you, medial, it is not medial, this is the lateral side. From the lateral to the medial, the extensor hallucis longus is going to cross the artery. This is the important relation. Upper you have tibialis anterior, extensor digitorum longus. In the middle, in the middle you have the tibialis anterior, okay, and the extensor hallucis longus. So upper tibialis, so tibialis anterior should be there in upper and the middle. But first you have to write extensor digitorum longus. Then you have to write hallucis longus. Then at last you should write about digitorum longus and the hallucis longus in the lower part. Both longus should be there. And you have to see that from the lateral to the medial side, the artery is being crossed by the extensor hallucis longus. Okay. The vena commitans is going to accompany the artery. Okay, so deep peroneal nerve is lateral to its upper and lower thirds, and then anterior ends middle one third. This is very important. Okay, so vein, about vein you should write, about nerve you should write. So about nerve, if you see deep peroneal nerve. Okay, so I hope so in this image you doesn't have the deep peroneal nerve. Yeah, you have deep fibular nerve. You can see right here. In upper and in the middle part, sorry, upper and the lower part, this has been lateral to the artery. Whereas if you can see them in the middle one third, it is anterior to the artery. Middle it is anterior, whereas the upper and lower it is medial to the artery. So this is also very important one only. Okay. Right. Next, we are going to see about the branches of the anteriotubular artery. So, muscular branches for all the muscles, anastomosing branches for the knee joint and for the ankle joint. So, for the knee joint, there are anterior tibial and the posterior tibial, which takes part in the anastomose around knee joint with the genicular branches. And you have the anterior medial malleolar, anterior lateral malleolar taking place in the anastomosis around the ankle joint. So the medial malleolar, it passes deep to the tendon of tibialis anterior and extensor hallucis longus. This is the tibialis anterior, right? And this is a extensor hallucis longus. In that you have the medial malleolar, whereas the lateral malleolar between the extensor digitorum longus and the peroneus tertius. So you can remember like the first one and the second, third one and three, 2 and 4. 2 and 4 is 2 is digitorum longus, fourth one is the peroneus tertius. So 1 and 3 are being there in the medial malleolus, 2 and 4 are there in the lateral malleolus. Okay, so medial malleolus anastomosis with a posterior tibial artery and medial plantar artery, whereas anastomosis of the lateral malleolar is the lateral dorsal artery and perforating branch of posterior tibial artery. Both are with posterior tibial artery only. So plantar artery and lateral dorsal artery. That is going to be, you will see that in the ankle joint. But now you remember where is medial malleolar between what 1 and 3, 2 and 4 you should remember. And they are taking place in the ankle joint only. So right here you can see that lateral malleolar network just lie below the lateral malleolus, and medial malleolar network within the just below the medial malleolus. So to summarize full content of the anterior tibial artery, I just want to say that it is a very important artery in the anterior compartment. It starts from the lower border of popliteus. It is a continuation of popliteal artery. It is going to be between the fibers of the tibialis posterior, and it passes a gap which is above the interosseous membrane to enter the anterior compartment. Once after it enters the anterior compartment, okay, it runs between the two malleoli and terminates as the dorsalis pedis. And in the relations, if you can see, you should know the upper anterior, right? Upper anterior, so upper one third, middle one third, lower one third. Upper you have tibialis anterior and extensor digitorum longus. Tibialis anterior and the extensor hallucis longus. Extensor digitorum longus and hallucis longus. From lateral side to medial side, extensor hallucis longus. The vein is going to accumulate. Deep peroneal nerve is in the upper and lower. It is medial. It is in the middle part is in anterior. That is what you should remember. Branches and muscular branches. Anastomosing branches is from anterior tibial to posterior tibial extend. Malleolar branches, malleoli, medial malleoli, lateral malleoli, medial anterior, and the anterior medial malleoli, anterior lateral malleolar branches. So medial malleoli is going to take place between the two things. Tibialis anterior and the extensor hallucis longus, whereas the posterior malleoli is going to take place. Sorry, lateral malleoli is going to take place between the extensor digitorum longus and the peroneus tertius. Right. Next, we are going to the deep peroneal nerve. Okay, which is the last one. Deep peroneal nerve is the nerve of the anterior compartment of the leg and dorsum of the foot. So while learning the dorsum, you will know about the deep peroneal nerve. And it is a two-terminal branch. So the terminal branches of the common peroneal nerve, superficial and deep. Superficial we saw in which compartment? We saw in the lateral compartment. Now the deep peroneal nerve will see in the anterior compartment. Root value of this is ventral primary rami of L4, L5, S1 and S2, lumbar and sacral plexus. Okay, that is with L5 and S1, right? Superficial peroneal. Here you have L4, L5, S1 and S2 also accompanying here. So in deep peroneal nerve, it terminates as a medial and lateral terminal branch on the dorsum of the foot. Okay, it will terminate as a medial and lateral branch. Okay, and as a dorsum of the foot, it will just divide and they get what? The lateral terminal branch and medial terminal branch. Okay, that is what it is going to divide as the terminal branches. So origin is from the common peroneal nerve and the termination is as the terminal branches, that is medial and lateral terminal branches. The course, if you see, the course, it starts from the head of the fibula, it enters the interosseous membrane, okay, via the gap above the interosseous membrane. It enters the anterior compartment where it is in the neck of the fibula and supplies all the muscle and it goes to dorsum of the foot. So you can see lateral side of the neck of fibula. Okay. So here they left about the head of the fibula. Okay, but you have to know about the head of fibula also. Enters the anterior compartment by piercing the anterior intermuscular septum. Okay, as I told you, and then pierces the extensor digitorum longus and comes to lie next to the anterior tibial artery. So in the upper side, you had in the picture itself, you had the extensor digitorum longus in the upper part, right? So this you can see the extensor digitorum longus. It pierces the extensor digitorum longus, okay, and then it comes to lie next to the anterior tibial artery. Okay, so anterior compartment, it is piercing which muscle? Extensor digitorum longus muscle, right? And in the leg, it accompanies the anterior tibial artery and has similar relation. Now enters the dorsum of the foot by dividing into lateral and medial terminal branches. The lateral branches and medial terminal branches. About this, you should know. So this medial terminal branches is for the first dorsal interosseous and interdigital cleft, or the first interdigital cleft and big toe, whereas the lateral is going to supply the second dorsal interosseous. Okay, and also it is the pseudoganglion. So it is pseudoganglion and is deep to the extensor digitorum brevis also. Okay, lateral terminal branches. Okay, branches proceed from the pseudoganglion, supply the extensor digitorum brevis and the tarsal joints. So what are the muscular branches? All the four muscles, you can see them. Tibialis anterior, digitorum longus, hallucis longus and peroneus tertius. And the extensor digitorum brevis also, which is on the dorsum of the foot, they get the supply from the lateral terminal branches, as I told you now. Cutaneous branches is going to be accompanying the first and second two, and articular branches is for the ankle joint, tarsal joint, metatarsal joint, metatarsophalangeal joints. So even the articular joints is given by the particular nerve. Okay. So to summarize, the deep peroneal nerve, it's from the common peroneal nerve. Now the branch, the L4, L5, S1 and S2, it's a anterior compartment nerve. From the lateral side of the neck of the fibula starts, it terminates as a two terminal branches, medial and the lateral. It enters the anterior compartment by neck of the fibula and it pierces the anterior intermuscular septum and it enters the by piercing the external digitorum longus and comes to the lie next to the anterior tibial artery. Next, you can see that it divides in lateral and the medial terminal branches. Lateral terminal branches is pseudoganglion and supplies the external digitorum brevis. This middle terminal branches, that is also lateral terminal branch, also supplies the second dorsal interosseous. Middle terminal branches supplies the first dorsal interosseous, first interdigital cleft and toe. Branches of muscular branches, ankle joint and tarsal joint, metatarsal joint, metatarsophalangeal joint, articular joints, and cutaneous joints go to second toe and the first toes. And brevis also getting from the lateral terminal branches. So now we will conclude by talking about the clinical anatomy, that is the applied aspect. You have an anterior compartment syndrome where the deep peroneal nerve has been injured. Okay, in the anterior compartment syndrome. Okay, so in the anterior compartment syndrome, while the patient try to do the dorsiflexion, there will be a pain and there will be a loss of doing the dorsiflexion also. There will be more swelling and more tenderness. Tenderness means hotness, sensory loss of cutaneous supply due to the compression of the deep peroneal. There will be sensory loss also for the cutaneous supply. That's why the first interdigital cleft, which is from the medial malleolar. Okay, so medial terminal branches supplies the first interdigital club, that is also sensory loss, and there will be swelling will be there, loss of pulsation at the dorsalis pedis, which is a termination of the anterior tibial artery. Okay, and dorsiflexion is affected. So it occurs with athletes. For treatment of this, the patient will be given a longitudinal incision. Okay, so in order to remove the swelling out, then we have a shin splint. Okay, shin splint is also occurring at the athletes only. The pain will drag you from the knee to the ankle. From knee to the ankle, there will be a pain, shin splint. Okay. So this is I'll show you shin splint images. You can see the shin splint. So while doing any like if you go to the gym and start the first day, if you start with the bone exercise, you will get a pain from the knee to the ankle region, this region. Okay, and jogging also, over jogging can also cause this, and it will be common in the athletes, and there will be pain over the shin of the tibia. So the two clinical or applied aspects of the anterior compartment is anterior compartment syndrome affecting deep peroneal nerve and the shin splint affecting the tibial artery. So this is about the second part of the anterior compartment, which is including the common, this is a deep peroneal nerve, anterior tibial artery, and applied aspect of the anterior compartment of the leg. Thank you.